using these same vehicles, motorcycles, cars and trucks. Then we start to move onto the maritime side with a much larger degree of tonnage. Trawlers, fishing vessels, speedboats and jet skis have been used to mount attacks against, as well as the black market mines, against shipping, neutral and Mustardian shipping. Also, the air asymmetric threat. Light aircraft, again, purchased from disreputable sources and stolen from honest brokers. Light aircraft, around about 5,700 kilogram weight, used as a kind of air asymmetric attack to gather intelligence on Mustardian forces, and in some cases we think they may be prepared as air suicide attacks. That's the air asymmetric threat.
I think to sort of answer your question, to wrap this question up, is ANQUAKE is a modern, capable, well-funded and well-equipped terrorist organisation with its own agenda. And that agenda is not entirely clear to us yet, but that is something we are pursuing vigorously. The threat to Mustardian interests in the region is very real, to both our civilian communications, our military communications, and indeed our people within the outlying enclaves of Italy. And that is, and that represents a significant interest to this government. In the front, please. I'll come back to you, sorry. Did you not? I beg your pardon, sorry.
Question to you, sir. The South Hebridean Union with Mustardia Party is dubbed by some as a terrorist group. What is your take on this party? Do you label it as a terrorist group?
No, the Mustardian government does not view the Shump party as a terrorist group. They're just a political movement acting within the law, within the South Hebridean and international law, in the pursuit of a normal political goal, and they're going about it by democratic and legal means.
So they are a paramilitary group, and they do have equipment and warlike tendencies. So why are they not dubbed by yourself and your government as terrorists, where what ANQUAKE is?
We have no firm evidence that we're aware of to indicate that they're carrying out paramilitary attacks. We are very strongly support the political process that the leaders of Shump are engaged in to, again, as I said, to pursue their political goal of union with Mustardia, so the South Hebridean union between South Hebridean and Mustardia.
Can we move on to the question in the back row there, please? Yes, you in the back.
Derek Dyson from Mustardian Sun. I'm sure the citizens would want to know how much this is going to cost with the taxpayers' money, such a large campaign.
The Chancellor has allocated a budget of £3 billion, and that at this moment is deemed sufficient to mount this operation. Although we won't commit ourselves to a final figure because we don't know how long the operation will last. And I'm not prepared at this time to actually try and second guess how long the military and what our military advisors will recommend we need to maintain a presence. But with the level of combat power that we are hoping to be able to deploy into the area, we're hoping or planning for a swift resolution to allow plenty of time for following operations and rebuilding in the area as necessary. Please.
If ANQ strongholds are found on Brownian territory, will they be attacked by the task force?
The first process in any of this, as you correctly said, is to identify their strongholds and their means of communications and transport. Then, as part of a dialogue with the Brownian government, we will request permission to effectively neutralise them on their soil.
And if they don't grant that?
That will be something we'll have to decide nearer the time to see how it goes, to find out whether there are other ways we can bring pressure on ANQ within that particular region by other means other than military. But as far as the terrorist goes, military action against them, if we cannot convince the Brownians themselves to take action against them, or provide assistance for them to do it. So it may well be possible for us to provide technical assistance to a Brownian force to combat terrorists on their own soil without actually using our own military people. Yes.
Won't this money
Name,
be...
please.
Oh, sorry. Ruth Owen, Brownian TV. Won't this money be taking away from the aid efforts in the Fourth Humber Strip?
No. Can I just go to the gentleman in blue at the back just first, please?
Ed Hammond, Mustardia son. Is this operation likely to be a retaliation against Mustardia and people of it?
No. Our intent, as always, is to find a diplomatic solution to this problem, and to assist Brownian in maintaining the security of its own borders, and therefore improving stability in the region and combating terrorist and paramilitary threats that way. As always, we will strive to maintain that diplomatic dialogue and offer assistance wherever we can, such that it will be the Brownian people and the Brownian force that will actually deal with the issues on their own territory. But if they require our assistance, we will give it to them in order to help them out. So, we do not want to be seen as the aggressor. We're not going out there to occupy, we're not going out there to expand, we're going out there to assist. Assist the Brownian in dealing with a problem which is indigenous to their own land. Yes.
Mr. You mentioned assist Brownians into combating terrorist groups. Wouldn't that be viewed as interference in Brownian affairs on your side?
Yes, I mean it has the potential to be viewed that way, but it will depend entirely on how the results of the negotiations between Brownian and Mustardia go. Bearing in mind that not only does the terrorist threat present a clear and present danger to our own citizens, but also to Brownian citizens and their interests. These aren't just Mustardians that are being killed. These aren't just Mustardian oil pipelines which are being threatened. These aren't just Mustardian sea lines of communication that are being threatened. They're international waters, international airspace and international land masses which are being threatened. And therefore it's in all our interests to work together to achieve a peaceful solution to this problem and evict the terrorist organisation from our homeland. Therefore we are very keen to promote that image, and we have the desire to assist Brownian. And I believe that, and certainly the indications at the moment with the early talks are that the Brownians are very open to the possibility of assistance in order to help them come to terms with maintaining security in their own land, which will then enable them to divert more of their own internal resources to providing help to regions that they need to themselves. Okay, thanks.
James Hassan, Mustardia TV. If the dialogue with the Brownian government does not go as planned, will you at any stage recommend evacuation of Mustardian citizens from the enclave?
This government's policy is to offer security to its own citizens in the Mustardian enclave, albeit that the presence of that enclave itself is disputed. And one of the key tenets of the negotiations will be to achieve recognition of our right to maintain the enclave there as Mustardia. And we do not see, from our point of view, any movement from that. I would not wish to sort of promote panic in the outlying territories. But as I said in my statement, we are advising people, Mustardian citizens, not to travel, not to conduct any unnecessary travel or business in the region, purely for their own safety. But it also helps us by not having unnecessary people moving in and out of the area. But should the situation become so untenable that there is a significant threat to civilians, then yes, we will make plans to evacuate them to safely.
Have you made any plans to that effect yet?
No.
One last question,
I
please.
think that, may I